regarding that uncontrolled component. Uncontrolled component. Okay, so before that we need to know what is the form. Okay, the form is basically is essential in the web application for collecting the user input. Okay, and enabling the searches and making the payments and so more. Okay, so basically in the React, the form handling different from the plain HTML. Basically we can say the state management to manage the user inputs efficiently in the form in the React. Okay, so in that thing we have seen the two things. Okay, under form that there is a one uncontrolled and one more is one controlled and uncontrolled. Okay, control in the sense the React directly manage the form input to the state in the sense use state we can say, and uncontrolled in the sense basically instead of state React uses the refs to directly access the DOM element. Okay, the input values are read when the needed actually, not on every change. But in the control component, so React directly manage the form inputs to this state, and in the control component we can say that every changes in the input update the state and that UI reflect the current state. But in this thing, in the uncontrolled component, so instead of state we have to use that refs to directly access the DOM elements, and the input value are they read when they are needed, not on every changes. So this is the scenario regarding that uncontrolled. Okay, 1 minute. It is here. Uncontrolled. Okay. So basically we can say in the React.js that uncontrolled components are those where the form data handled by the DOM itself. Okay, so the form data is handled by the DOM itself. Okay, rather than being controlled by the React state. So basically you should know, so uncontrolled component in the sense it's like basically like the uncontrolled components are those where the form data is handled by the DOM itself. Okay, that instead of using the state to keep the track of the input values. Okay, in the uncontrolled components use the references, basically like reps, use the references, we can say short form as a rep. Okay, to directly access the DOM element and that their values we can say. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, so we have some key characteristics for the that uncontrolled component. Okay, the first thing we have seen that references, the short form we can say the ref. Okay, basically like we are using that directly we can access the DOM itself, and after that so we have to see some things. There is a key characteristics okay, or sticks. Okay, for the uncontrolled component, the first thing I can say it's a direct DOM access. Means here we need to use that ref to access the form values. Okay, this is the first thing. Second thing, we no, we don't need the use state. If you guys are using the uncontrolled component, so we don't need the use state. here we are not handling by the state, so we are using the ref. So there is a separate hook called ref, so we have to use that use ref. Okay, so basically no use state in the sense, basically does not rely on that react like state handled by that the state actually. Is my screen visible?
No, sir.
Okay, okay, sorry. Now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, the thing is like the no use state in the sense like yeah.
No, sir.
What happened?
Screen is not.
Screen is not visible. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Like, are you guys any facing like so? 1 minute, I'll reshare my screen and let me know. So now is it visible? Kaustubh?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
But blank.
Blank.
Yes.
Okay. Mm, 1 minute. Something went wrong. Stop sharing. Stop sharing window. Now?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, so basically uncontrolled component in the sense we can say it's like form data is handled by the DOM itself, and there is a key characteristics for the uncontrolled component. Okay, the first thing, there is a direct DOM access. Okay, direct DOM access in the sense we have to use the ref to access the access the form values. Okay, in the control component, to access the form values, like we have to use the current value in the use state, but in this thing like in uncontrolled component, so then we have to use that ref. Okay, and we don't have the use state because that does not rely on that react state to handle the input values. Okay, and the third thing, it's a simpler simple setup actually, we can say simpler setup. Okay, so basically it's useful for the simple forms where the tracking state is not necessary. Okay, so there you can use that ref. Okay, and the next point, there is a less re-rendering. Less re-rendering. Okay, like since there is a no state update occur in every keystrokes. Okay, it avoid the unnecessary re-renders like in the uncontrolled component. Okay, and there is a last thing, there is a default values. Default values. Default values in the sense, basically we have to use the default value instead of value for the setting the initial values. Okay, the thing is like, so we have seen that uncontrolled component, control component. Okay, we have seen some that keys as well. Okay, but thing is like, so when to use this uncontrolled component? Okay, when to use the uncontrolled component? So basically when you don't need the validate input on the each keystrokes. This is the first point basically. So when you don't need to validate input on the each keystrokes. Okay, and the next point, so for the simple forms. Okay, the fetching where the state management is overkill, we can say, then we can use. Okay, and there is the last thing we can say that regarding, so when the integrating with non-react libraries that manipulate the DOM directly, so we can use that thing. For example, so you can take one scenario. The scenario like there is a file upload form. Okay, file upload form in the sense, I will show you one thing. File upload form. File upload form. can take this example. Yeah, you can yeah, this one, file upload. Okay, so basically this file upload forms where you just need the like file references when you user click on the submit, so without tracking the without tracking the changes in the React state. Like the best scenario I can said like this in. So basically the file upload form where you just need that file reference when the user click the submit. Okay, user click the submit, so without tracking the changes in the React state, we can say. Okay, so we can see some difference between that uncontrolled component and control component. Okay, so basically that control component we can say the thing is like here we are using the React state, and there we are like in uncontrolled component we are using the ref. Okay, so in the control component the re-rendering will not happen. Okay, but uncontrolled component, like in control component it will happen the re-rendering, but uncontrolled component it will not happen. Okay, in the validation part, so the thing is like on every keystrokes that validation happen in the control component, but in the uncontrolled component on the form submission, mostly the form submission we can see that validation. Okay, for the use cases for the control component, so there is a complex forms or real-time validations, we can use that for the control component. And the uncontrolled component we can say that a simple forms or third-party libraries we can say. Okay, so like this is the simple things regarding that yeah, like uncontrolled component. So we'll do code for that uncontrolled component. So yesterday we have, like last class we have seen that control component code. So we have used that input, and we have handled that input using the state, and like we have used the attribute called value and on change. Okay, so now we have to use the ref. Okay, to access the, like we can access the directly DOM, we can say. Okay, so let's say we have some like simple login form. Okay, so where we want to collect the user credentials, and but don't need the real time validations. Okay, the thing is like there is a simple login form, so where we want to collect the user credentials, but don't need like real time validations. Okay, so here I'll create one app, stack grids, and here I will create this own yesterday's one. So I'll create new one, stack blades. Okay, and .jsx. I will remove all the things, just I will do. Okay, so for the login form we need username, password, and submit button. Okay, for that thing, first thing we need that form. Okay, inside the form we need that label input and button. Okay, yeah, so here first they can do, and after that we need the label, so we have to add that label as the username. Okay, and we need input as well, so type is text. Okay, type is text. The same thing we need for the password as well. Okay, password we have to use here, password. Okay, so type we can say it's a password only. Okay, and there is a one button we need actually in that form, so button. Okay, and name is login. Okay, and here I will type is equal to submit. Okay, so this is the one login form. Just imagine, just we need to do one thing where we want, like basically this is login for simple login form where we want to collect the user credential but don't need real-time validations. Okay, so in the control component what we have did that we have like created the state to access those input values like input. Okay, but here we need to suppose if we want to access the inputs in that control component, so we have to use the refs. Okay, so for example I'll create one ref here. Okay, so we have the two inputs in this, and I will create the two reps. Okay, there is a const. Okay, username ref. Okay, is equal to use ref is the hook. Okay, use ref is the hook. By default we can set as a null. The same thing for the password ref. Password ref. Okay, so here in the form we need to add that event called on submit. Okay, so here I'll add that handle submit. Okay, yeah, so here we have created the ref, but we need to handle that in the input. So how to handle that input? In the sense, directly we can give that ref is equal to that user name ref, like this. Okay, and for password also we have to give that ref is equal to that password ref. Okay, so now we have to create one function for the handle submit. That is a const handle submit e. Okay, so here I will do that e dot prevent default. Okay, so here we need to access the input values directly from the DOM. We need to access that input values directly from the DOM. So for that thing we have to use, I'll create the two variables. There's a one, it's a username. Okay, username is equal to user name ref dot current current dot values. So in the control component, so we have to use that event dot target dot value, but in uncontrolled component we have to use that current. Okay, so this is the like use ref. Okay, and this is the current then value. Okay, same for password as well. Password ref. Okay, so we can console as well for this thing. Okay, console dot log, you can say is username username okay, we have created the thing. So what left? Okay, so basically the thing is like this use ref create the reference to the DOM nodes. Okay, this use ref create the reference to the DOM nodes, and this like this current dot value when the form is submitted, like basically this on submit there is a function called handle submit. In that handle submit we have created that current value. Okay, when the form is submitted, this current like user name ref dot current dot value is used to get the input values. And the third thing, there is a component does not re-render when the user types. Okay, we'll see the output what happening. 1 minute, give me some time. is not defined, so we have to use here, use ref. Okay, so here like there is a, and there is a password. Okay, so here I will see the output here. Okay, here, so here we will get the output. Okay, but here we are using the like use ref hook. Okay, the use ref hook create the reference to the DOM nodes. Okay, when and this next thing, there is a, when the form is submitted, that like that current dot value is used to get the input values. Okay, and basically we need to follow some best practices for the use ref. Okay, we need to use the we need to use that uncontrolled component for the simple forms. Otherwise, when the integrating with the non-react libraries. Okay, for the complex forms with the validations that and the conditional rendering, we can prefer that control component. Okay, suppose if you have the complex forms with the validations, then we have to go with the control component. Okay, so this is regarding, we can say that regarding the form. Okay, so form is basically you can say it's a simple web like form, and under that we have seen the two things. There is a one control component and that the uncontrolled component. So uncontrolled component basically we can handle the using the by state, and here we have handled by using that use ref. Okay, like do you have any doubt on the control and uncontrolled component and form? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, like do you have any doubt on the control and uncontrolled component?
No, sir. No.
Okay, so the next thing regarding we can see that conditional rendering basically. Okay, conditional rendering. Okay, so conditional rendering in the React JS, okay, is a one of the thing like one of the technique basically we can say, like where the components are displayed based on the specific condition. Okay, and like it works similar to the JavaScript conditional statement, like if else, or we can say that ternary operator, but here just be applied inside the JSX. Okay, for the real world application, so you need to render the component based on the certain conditions, like you can say there is a user authentication. Okay, and the loading states. For example, suppose suppose you can visit any website, so starting you will get some loading kind of things. Okay, so you can see that real-time example for that conditional rendering. Okay, so basically in the React, we can use the JavaScript expressions inside the JSX using the curly braces. Okay, and basically this allow you to apply the condition directly within the render logic. So we have like different way to implement the conditional rendering. Okay, so we have the different ways to implement that conditional rendering. Okay, first thing we can take regarding that we can, yeah, there is a using the if. Okay, using the if statement. Okay, we can use the simple if condition before the return statement. Okay, so here I'll create the thing. I will erase this one. I'll remove the form, and I don't need this as well. Okay, for example, so we have to use that if we can use that simple if condition before the return statement. Okay, for example, I will write here only there is a function. Okay, function called, we can say there is a greet. Greet is the function name, and like you're getting some props. Okay, so in this thing, so we can create one variable called is logged in. Okay, so we are getting that is logged in from the props dot is logged in. Okay, so now the thing is like, suppose like use like is logged in the sense like person is logged in the page in the website. Okay, so that we have to add the condition, suppose is logged in, like suppose this is logged in, then we have to return the content like welcome back, user. Okay, suppose one minute, yeah, suppose user is not like is logged in, so then we can set that else part, we need to return something called return. We have to add some content, there is a h1, so we can add the content like please log into the login to the condition kind of thing. Continue, we can say continue. Okay, so this is simple like using the if condition, so before the statement. Okay, in an app, based on the whether like based on whether the user is logged in or not. Okay, so we can share a welcome message or log out. For example, I'll create one thing, I'll create any website, the website name is one minute, I'll use in the incognito. In incognito, basically I'll use the Flipkart. So like here it's asking the login. Okay, so when I add the credential and login, after login, so we'll get some content called like regarding that welcome back user. So for example, we can take that real time scenario that logged in, like basically in our app, that based on whether the user is logged in or not. Okay, we can show either the welcome message or the login prompt. Okay, suppose is a person is not logged in, so then we have to show that login form. Okay, like that. Okay, so we can use the ternary operator as well. So ternary operator in the sense, so that, sorry, 1 minute. So there is a one function and I will create the function, like function name is the user status. Okay, and I'll pass something props. Okay, so in this thing we have to return div. Okay, so here we have to do one thing. Okay, so we have to use the ternary operator. Okay, and this is the most common approach for the inline conditions. Okay, so we can use that in inside the JSX. Okay, so for that thing we have to use that curly braces. Okay, so there is a props. Okay, props dot is online is online. So then we have to show that user is online. Show user is online. Otherwise we can say that user is offline. User is offline. Okay, so this is simple like ternary operator. Okay, for the conditional rendering. Okay, so for the scenario wise, you can take any chat app. Okay, any chat app. Okay, showing the user online offline. For example, you can take the Telegram and WhatsApp. Okay, and that Facebook. Okay, so in the chat sometime it will show that online, sometime it will show that offline status using the simple boolean flag. Suppose if that prospect is online, then you can show that user online, otherwise you can show the user is offline. Okay, and after that the third thing we have to use using the logical operator in the sense there is the and person, this one, like we can set the short circuit evaluation. Okay, using the operator logical and operator we can say. Okay, so we can use when you want to render something only when the condition is true. Okay, only when condition is true. Okay, I'll create one function for that thing. There is a one function. Okay, the function name is the notification. Okay, so we'll get props. Okay, here I'll create one destructuring the const, there is a notification. Okay, so here I will set the props. Okay, here I will return the JSX. I'll return the JSX. Okay, so that is a div. Okay, suppose I'll add one condition here. Okay, the condition is suppose that notification length. Okay, this notification, so basically notification in the sense props only. Okay, so getting from the props. Okay, either you can use that props, you can use that notification. Okay, so notification dot length is greater than 0, then we have to show that length. Then we have to show that length means you have the like this much notification length. Notification length for the new notification. Okay, for this scenario, like we can you can see in your mobile that show notification alert only if there are unread notifications. Suppose in your in your mobile you can see there is a unread notifications, it will show the alert. Okay, so this is thing we can say it's that logical operator we are using for the like showing the alert kind of thing. Suppose like we have to use when you want to render the something only when the condition is true. Okay, so after that there is one more thing, if else. Okay, we have already seen the if else. Okay, for scenario basically okay, scenario I will tell you regarding that if else condition. So basically we can say, 1 minute. Okay, yeah. So in the data heavy application, like in the data heavy application, so we can show the different different UI elements for the loading or success or error state. Okay, for that thing we can use that if else with the function. So how means basically, so I'll create that function here. So there is a if else with function. If else with function. Okay, so if else with function in the sense, so suppose the thing is like the scenario thing, like scenario based we can say that if in the data heavy application, so we can use the we can show the different UI elements for the loading and success or error state. Okay, so for that thing I'll create one function called the function name is get status message, get a status message. Okay, so I'll take some status from the top, like from the parameter. Okay, suppose if, okay, if the status is loading, okay, if status is loading, sorry, 1 minute, if status is loading, okay, we need to return as loading, we need to return loading. Okay, so we have to use that if else condition as well. Else if the status is success, if the status is equal to success, then we have to return, so we have to return the data fetches successfully kind of things. Suppose if the status is successfully, then we can say that data fetched successfully. Okay, so this is for the second condition. Okay, we have to add one more condition for the failing. Okay, so there is the last thing else part. So we have to use, if like in the else part, we have to return the error fetching data. P that error fetching data. Okay, so now the basically we have created the function called the get status message. So in that thing, so like basically there is a one component, I will create that component as well. So basically there is a one component, parent component. Okay, there is a component called parent component. The component name is the status component. Status component. So from here we are passing the statuses. So in this thing, props. Okay, so here we'll return something. There is a return the JSX. Okay, so in this thing, so we have to call uh, that function that get status message. Okay, we have to call this function here, get status, like get status message. So here we need to pass that props dot state, props dot status. Okay, so here we are passing that prop dot status, and here we are getting the status. Suppose if status is loading, so then we'll return the loading. Okay, suppose if status is a success, so then our data fetched successfully. Okay, I'll show here. There is a Flipkart. Okay, inspect, and there is a network. In this network we have to do one thing, throttling 4G 3G. Yeah, there is no loading here. For 1 minute I will do one thing. No, add no, there is no loading here. So basically just you can imagine. So here there is a parent component called the status component. Okay, so here we are passing the props. Okay, in that get message function. So here we are getting the status. If the status is loading, then we have to show the loading. If the status is success, then we have to show that data fetched successfully. And if it is error, so then we can show that error fetched data actually. Okay, the thing is like this scenario, we can say that if in the data heavy application, so in the data heavy application, so we can use the different UI element for the loading or success or error state. Okay, the same thing we can use that in here there is a switch case as well. Instead of using the multiple if else condition, we can use this switch statement as well. If there are more than two conditions, okay, we can use that switch case can improve the readability. Okay, and there is a one more thing regarding the conditional rendering. So the thing is, using the conditional using conditional css class names, okay, the thing is like we can also conditionally apply the css classes based on the certain conditions. So basically we can also conditionally apply the css classes, okay, based on the certain conditions. The how means, so for example I will create one function here. There is a one function, okay, so function name is task item. The function name is a task item. So we are getting the task from the parameter. From the parent component we are getting the task. Okay, so here we need to return the JSX. So here, so what I told, so basically we can also conditionally apply the CSS classes based on the certain condition. Like how means basically there is a one p tag here, there is one p tag. Okay, so here we can set that task name, we can render the task name, task dot name. Okay, the thing is like basically we need the task name, uh, like task name, there is a completed task, other pending task. Okay, so like just imagine there is a completed task or pending task. Okay, so through the CSS we have to apply the styles. Okay, there is a class name, there is a class name. Okay, if the task is completed, if task is completed, so then we have to add that class name is the completed task. Okay, otherwise we can show it the pending task. Okay, so basically we can use like this conditionally apply the CSS classes based on the certain condition. So this, like this completed task, we can set this classes. So suppose if that task dot like task is completed, so basically task is completed, so then we have to show this completed, like 1 minute, like completed task. Otherwise we have to show that pending task. For the completed task and pending task we have to add the CSS. Okay, for the completed task we can show that green color, and at pending task we can show that color red. Okay, the scenario we can say basically here there is a to-do list app, like to-do list app in the sense there are CRUD operations. CRUD operation in the sense user can add the data, user can add the, like user can modify the data, user can delete the data. So we can say that, so basically the to-do list. Okay, we can strike through the completed the task while keeping the pending task in the red, so using this condition. Okay, and there is a best practices for the conditional rendering. So the first thing we can set the keep JSX is clean. Okay, so don't need to like do all the things in the JSX, like it's a little bit hectic for you guys only. And the like the code readability also is the is not well actually. Okay, the thing is like keep the JSX clean. So you have to use the functions for the complex condition to avoid the messy JSX. Okay, and use the ternary for the simple conditions. Here like we have used that condition, that is ternary, the simple one. So here we are like we have used that ternary. Okay, and there is a avoid the deep nesting. So suppose in the JSX, suppose we are using the one condition. For example, you can take, so here we are using one ternary operator. So inside the ternary operator, don't use the one more like ternary operator. So basically the best practices, we have to avoid the deep nesting. Okay, and the last thing we can see that fallback content in the sense always handle the cases where the data might not be null or undefined. Okay, so we can create one simple thing here. So this is the app. Okay, so here I will create one thing. There is the logged in is logged in. I will make it as a true. Okay, so I'll do one thing. So basically this is my application, this is my application. Okay, so in this thing I have to add the condition in the sense I have to use the curly braces. Okay, if it is logged in, so then I have to show that p tag. Inside that thing I have to show that welcome back user. Okay, otherwise, so we have to use that button for the login. Okay, we'll see the UI here. Okay, so right now our like that is logged in true, so for that thing it's showing that welcome back user. But suppose if it change the true to the false, so then it will show that button here. So this is the thing we can say, for example, for the one real world scenario for the user authentication flow. Okay, suppose here that for real time example, in the is logged in, you'll get some keys, like authentication keys. Through keys we have to log in to the website. Okay, so for that reason, so I am using the boolean values, that true and false. If that is logged in is true, so then we have to show that welcome back to user, and if it is false, then we have to show that button. Okay, so these are the regarding, we can say it's a conditional rendering. It's very important actually. Yeah, so after this thing, there is a, so do you have any doubt on the conditional rendering?
No, sir.
Okay, so after this there is a one topic called lists. Okay, so in React.js, lists are used to render the multiple items dynamically based on the data, like array of object. Okay, array of object and string as well. Okay, that instead of manually writing the each component for the every items, okay, the React allows you to use that powerful called map. So you guys are already used this map. Okay, so map function to loop through the data and display it efficiently. So basically why we need this, why we use like that list in React. Okay, the thing is like basically dynamic rendering means easily render data that may changes over time. For example, user profile or product listing. Okay, we can see like that. And the second thing, there is a scalability. Okay, the scalability, we can say to manage the thousands of items efficiently using that list. You can manage the thousands of items efficiently. Okay, and there is a one more thing, that is reusability. Okay, the reusability in the sense like we can use the same logic to render the different type of data. Like we are in the same logic but different type of data. Okay, so we have seen like why we are using the that list. Then we have to see that how to render the list in React. Okay, how to render in the list in the React. Okay, for example, for example, take one scenario. The scenario is basically product list for the e-commerce website. Okay, for a scenario, product list for the e-commerce website. E-commerce website in the sense you can take that Amazon, Flipkart. Okay, imagine you are building the e-commerce site to showing that list product, like list of the products. Okay, instead of the hard coding the each product, so you have the array of object, I can say. Okay, so I'll create here one object here. So this is the thing, so I will create one array of object. Okay, so there is a const products, and there is a one array. In that array we have to create that one id is the one, sorry, that id is the one, name we can say it's a laptop. Okay, and third thing, there is a price we can set the $800. Okay, the same thing I can set smart phones, and here I can make it as a $500, and here I will set headphone, I'll set it's 100, and I'll set bag, set 2. Okay, so basically this is one array of object. Okay, so the thing is like basically we want to iterate using that map, and we have to render in the JSX. Okay, for that thing I'll use directly, there is the curly braces. I'm not using any states. Okay, so I'm using directly the products dot map. Okay, the map, there is a product, there is a product. So here I will do one thing, there is a list. Okay, so here I will use that product dot and name, sorry, product dot name. Yeah, the product dot name and the product dot price we have to show. The product dot price we have to show. Okay, so parallelly we have to add that key as well, key. Okay, the key is equal to product dot id. So here we are rendering the product dot name hyphen product dot price, and we are using the key. Okay, the product dot id. Okay, we'll see in the output what we are getting. Yeah, so here we are getting that product names and prices. Okay, so basically using that map method. Okay, so using this map for the iteration, so basically this map create the new array by transforming the each element. Okay, and it return the JSX element for the each items. Okay, and there is a one important thing, there is a key. Okay, key props. So what is the key props? So basically the each item in the list must have the unique key, otherwise it will throw the error in the console. So we need the key mandatory like that. Okay, so each item in the list must have the unique key to help the React identify which items have changed, been added or removed. So this is the one thing we can say. Probably we can say like use the unique ID from the user data. And the basically we need to avoid the using the array indexes as the key. So suppose like we don't need to use that index here in the key. If the list can be changed dynamically, like insertion and deletion, so as it so it will issue with some rendering issues. Okay, for that reason we have to use that idea only. Okay, so like this is regarding the one of the best example for the list. Okay, so in the list we have to we have to follow some best practices. Okay, the thing is like the best practice in the sense we need to always use the unique keys to help the React optimize rendering. Okay, the keys, always use that unique keys and helps the React optimize the rendering. Okay, and the thing is like, so basically we need to avoid the inline functions in the map. Okay, so for the large list, it can affect the performance. Okay, and basically there is a one more thing, so we have to use the fragments. So these are empty tags are there, so we can call that fragments. So best practices, so we have to use, instead of div we can use directly the fragments. We can say it's a fragments only when mapping to the multiple elements without adding the extra DOM. So we can use the fragments like this actually. Okay, this is regarding the list. So do you have any doubt on the list?
No, sir.
Okay, the next thing, mm, left, yeah, so there is a keys. There is a keys, React JS keys. Okay, so what are the what are keys in the React? Okay, so basically in the React the keys are the unique identifiers. Okay, we can say there is a unique identifiers. Okay, unique identifiers assigned to the element in the list. So you already seen in this in list, so we are using that keys for the unique identifier. Okay, so basically keys are the unique identifiers assigned to the element in the list, so they help the React identify which items have changed, has been been added or removed. Like this makes the re-rendering process efficiently. Okay, like think of keys like a person of the Aadhaar card number. Okay, think of the keys like the person of the Aadhaar card number. It's unique and helps the system identify the person quickly. Okay, the thing is like basically why we need this why the keys are important. Okay, so when the list is updated, so you can take in any list. For example, now we can take this products. So product, we have a list. Okay, so when the list is updated, the React needs some figure out one, it's which items to update, which items to the remove, which items to add. So without keys, React might re-render the entire list. So it will cause for the that performance issue. So with the keys, React can perform the smarter re-rendering by updating the only changed items. So for that thing we are using uh, that keys. Okay, for example you can see like this for the yeah, this thing we can take an example for the keys. And like I already said regarding, so why not use the index as a key always? So index in the sense, suppose there is a product, there is a one more thing, it's a, you can say it's an index. So a lot of the people, what will do actually, basically they will use the directly index here. Okay, so basically we don't need to use the indexes as a key always. Okay, using the index as the key is fine if the list is static. Okay, if the list is static, then you can use the index. Okay, but if the list can change, like for example, you can take that items can remove, add. Okay, then using the index can like it will happen some that unexpected behavior. Okay, for that thing, so avoid like that indexes, so while like that item can be changed, like yeah, there is a dynamic list. Okay, while static list you can use that index, not a problem, but the thing is like we have to practice some best practice we have to follow. Okay, so like we need to use that unique identifier like from the data, like a id. Okay, and that is the one question. Okay, so what will happen if we don't use the keys? So what happens if we don't use the keys? The thing is like, if you forget to add the keys, okay, the react will show the warning. Okay, I will show you that warning here. So I'll remove this key. I'll remove this key. I can see this is the right side. Yeah, so there is a one warning actually. The each child in the list should have that unique keys props. Okay, like this means the react like cannot track the items efficiently, like and might be re-render unnecessary. Okay, and the like the best practices for the using the keys, always use the unique and stable keys. Okay, and avoid the using the array of indexes, and key should be the consistent. Don't generate the new keys on the each render. And basically the keys helps to react the efficient manage and update the list. Okay, and use the unique identifier, not the indices, like indexes for the dynamic list. Okay, basically think of that keys are an other card number, like Aadhaar number for the list items. Okay, so this is regarding, we can say it's a list. So do you have any doubt on the list and keys?
No, sir.
Okay, one more thing, there is a one more thing called routing. So do you know what is a routing actually? Kaustubh, Pritam and Priyanka,
Yes, sir.
what is a routing? Okay, leave it, not a problem. So basically routing we can say in the React JS. Okay, it basically it allows you to navigate the navigate between the different pages, or you can say that component within the single page application. Okay, for example, I will show you one thing. uh, for example, mm, which example I will show? Okay, EPFO I will try. EPFO, there is a website, but before that I will check for Netflix. Next, sorry, I need a home page for the Netflix. Okay, I'll show you for the so this is the APFO site. Okay, so when I click on, suppose when I click on any services, what happened here? Yeah, so it will take to the next tab actually. Okay, so we can see that navigate from the one page to the another page. Okay, the thing is basically in the routing, basically in the React.js allows you to navigate between the different pages or a component within the single page application. So without reloading the entire page, it manages the URL in the browser. Okay, it displays the corresponding component based on the route. So the thing is suppose we have the two things. Okay, so we have the one, it's a React. Okay, we are using that single page application, and there is a one, it's a without single page application. Okay, so basically this is the SPA, and this is, we can say it's a non-SPA. Okay, so in this thing, suppose if we have that about, home, and that contact, suppose if I click on that home or about, so basically it will show the without rendering the entire page. But the same thing, if I try in the non SPA, so it will render the whole page, and then it will give the that output. Okay, the basically routing in the React.js allows you to navigate between the different pages. Okay, or you can say that component within the within a single page application, so without reloading the entire page. So it manages the URL in the browser and display the corresponding component based on the route. Okay, the thing is why we need these things actually. So we are the thing is we have seen that example for the routing, but why we need these things? So basically, the first thing, for the navigation part, to create the link and navigate between the page smoothly. Okay, and next thing, there is a SPA behavior, avoid the fully reload, avoid the fully reload in the sense it's improving the performance and user experience. So here in the SPA you can see the it will it it's not re-rendering the entire page on when clicking on that about, but in the non SPA, it will re-render the entire page when I while clicking on the about. Okay, the thing is the second thing, there is a SPA behavior, single page application behavior, avoid the full page reload, improving the performance and user experience. Okay, and third thing, there is a dynamic URL. So dynamic URL in the sense it helps in the displaying the dynamic content based on the URL parameters. Okay, and the fourth thing, there is a conditional rendering. So basically display the specific component based on the route. Okay, so basically we have like where is routing used. Basically the thing is like the routing is used in the e-commerce site to navigate between the home, product and cart pages. We can see in the mm, Amazon. Okay, like yeah, suppose if I click on the yeah suppose if I click on the fresh, yeah, like yeah, we came so in the different page. Okay, so this is, we can say it's an e-commerce site to navigate between the home, product and cart page, and yeah, and so there is a one more thing, that the dashboard to switch between the different section like analytics, settings and profile. Okay, so basically when to use, like when should you implement the routing. So we have seen that why we are using, where we are using, but we need to know when should we implement this routing. Thing is like, so when your app is multiple pages or multiple views, so then we can use. Okay, so when you want to manage the different URL path, so then we can use. Okay, when you need the dynamic rendering based on the URL parameters, so then we can use. Then how to use basically. Okay, now how to use that routing. So basically that React router is the most popular library. Okay, there is a library, React library for the React router DOM. React router DOM is the famous library. Okay, so basically React router is the most popular library for the routing in the React apps. Basically it provides so basically this library provides the four things. One, it's a browser router, and next thing there is the routes, and next thing there is the route, and next thing is the link to handle the routing. So these are the four things, like these are the four things it like that library providing the component, like the browser router and routes and route and link. Okay, for example for the scenario you can take, so there is a one e-commerce app routing. Okay, there is a e-commerce app routing. Okay, so there is a home page. So this is like just can imagine there is a home page. For the home page we have to use the slash only. Okay, suppose if you want to go to the page product page, so then we have to use that product with particular keys, with particular ID, like this. Okay, suppose if you want to go to the cart page, there is sorry suppose if you want to go to the cart page, so then we can use, that is a cart. So like this you have to follow the things. Okay, here I will show you the things. This is the Amazon in. Okay, this is the basic Amazon in. Okay, you can see in the URL. So when I click on the mobile, okay, you can see a slash mobile phones and slash b, and there is a yeah, there is a things regarding that internal code. Okay, The same thing we have to use the for the so here you can see there is a for the mobile phone there is a different route, and there is a today's deal for the uh, different route. There is electronics, there is a different route. Okay, and there is a bestseller. So for for that also there is a different route. Okay, so we have we have so many routes in this thing. Okay, suppose if I click on the books, okay, you can see there is a books route is there. Okay, suppose if I click on the location, not there. Suppose if I click on the home and kitchen, so here you can see after that amazon.in, so there is a home kitchen route. So this is the simple basic fundamental on the routing. So regarding the routing coding, we'll do tomorrow. So do we have any doubt on the uncontrolled and list and that keys and the routing?
No, sir.
Okay, what about Priyanka?
No, sir.
Okay, so are you guys practicing those HTML and CSS questions?
Yes, sir.
What about Kostu?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, then we'll see tomorrow then. Okay.